PRESOR O3 Excellence, Technology for Health and Beauty. Some of the medical and aesthetic disorders that affect the population in general are those related to return blood circulation. Many factors influence the generation of these problems: type of activity, diet, hereditary factors, and excessive heat in legs, amongst others. For years now, SOR International has been creating and developing SOR-medic equipment to prevent and improve these consequences that worry an important segment of the population. With PRESOR O3 Excellence, SOR-medic has achieved high performance and effective equipment, which is easy and safe to use thanks to the high technology of its components. PRESOR O3 Excellence is last generation equipment for carrying out the best pressotherapy treatments. Before carrying out the pressotherapy treatments, we remind you of the aspects related to blood circulation, so you may better understand the solution proposed by SOR-medic. Anatomy of blood circulation. The circulatory system is comprised of the heart that propels the blood, the arterial system that supplies blood to the entire organism. The arteries branch out into lower caliber vessels spreading throughout the entire organism, and the return system made up of the venous lymphatic systems that return the blood to the heart. The venous system of the lower extremities is made up of a dense network of collecting vessels that, for practical reasons, are broken down into three main groups. The superficial veins that correspond to the internal saphenous vein area that goes along the internal side of the extremity, from the foot to the oval cavity of the groin, and the external saphenous vein area originating at the back of the foot and going up through the external side to the popliteal region. The deep veins of the leg, like the tibia, that continues along the popliteal and the femoral region, and a perforating system made up of a series of communicating vessels that act as a connection between the superficial and deep systems. Physiology of circulation. Blood charged with oxygen and nutrients is pumped and propelled by the heart. It circulates easily through the arteries, where it reaches a pressure that, in normal conditions, is around 120 mercury millimeters. The arteries branch off until reaching the microcirculation area, comprised of the arterial capillaries, the wall of which is a semi-permeable membrane that allows the outflow of plasma with dissolved substances to the interstitial cells. These cells trap the oxygen and dissolved nutrients and eliminate waste products. The blood, charged with carbon dioxide and waste products of tissue metabolism, returns to the heart by means of a return vessel system, comprised of the venous system, to which approximately 90% of the return fluid corresponds, and the lymphatic system, to which the remaining 10% corresponds. From the venous capillary, the blood must travel upwards again through the venous system to the heart, despite natural forces such as gravity that tend to make any fluid or solid drop. To avoid this natural tendency, the organism has certain mechanisms capable of developing sufficient force to propel the blood upwards. The vis-a-tergo force, that is to say, the residue of the propelling force of the heart that reaches the venous area, and the vis-a-fronte force, that is to say, the suction effect produced by the thoracic cage with respiratory movements. But at times these forces are insufficient, and above all, in erect position, other mechanisms are required, such as the muscular pump, since the muscles, upon contracting, compress and empty the venous vessels, and a valvular system having veins that allows the flow of blood towards the heart, thus maintaining a centripetal flow. If at any time the blood attempts to change direction and tends to drop, these valves close, constituting the main mechanism for the orientation and maintenance of the venous flow. Circulatory disturbances. When these mechanisms fail, the return of blood to the heart is obstructed, and a series of disorders appear that can lead to a permanent dissolution of the venous clearance, or, in other words, the forming of a varicose vein. The appearance of return circulation disorders is favored by a series of predisposing factors that should be avoided. The orthostatism found in persons who, due to their occupation or job, are on their feet during many hours, shop assistants, hairdressers, cooks, and so on. Obesity. Heat, above all on legs. Sedentariness and a lack of physical exercise. And the continuous compression of corsets, suspenders, and other clothing accessories. It is evident that all these activities should be avoided, since they favor circulatory disorders that, at first, appear as simple subjective symptoms, such as tiredness, heaviness of the legs, and even pain, but later become apparent with objective symptoms, such as an edema, the presence of vascular spiders and telangiectasias, hyperpigmentation of the skin, dermatosis, and varicose veins located preferentially in the area of both saphenous veins. PRESOR O3 Excellence. PRESOR O3 Excellence is a computerized presotherapy unit with last-generation technology that enables maximum efficiency, safety, and reliability of the treatment parameters, and therefore obtains excellent results. PRESOR O3 Excellence allows various operating options. To read blood pressure. Presotherapy treatment independent of blood pressure. And to read blood pressure first and then adjust the parameters of the treatment programs to the blood pressure values of the person to be treated. Upon activating the main switch, the unit carries out a test that checks correct operation and setting of controls. Then the desired language is selected. Although all parameters are determined automatically, upon selecting a work mode and its corresponding program, these can be modified by the user. The total treatment time can be programmed from between 0 and 99 minutes. The inflation time of each compartment can be set to between 0 and 99 seconds. The deflation time between two consecutive cycles can be set from 0 to 99 seconds. When working with any non-maintained alternative pressure program, programs 3 and 4, this time will be minimum since, when inflating the closest segment, the furthest away is already being deflated, and therefore the cycles can be successive without a pause in between. When working with a maintained pressure program, programs 1, 2, and 5, the deflation time should be greater so as to, at the end of the cycle, make the pressure cease completely in the treated area prior to beginning the next cycle. The clock indicates the time left to end the treatment and the total time of same. PRESOR O3 Excellence allows modifying the operating parameters even while carrying out a treatment, taking into account that even though the parameters are modified immediately on screen, the unit must finalize the inflation or standby cycle it is in at the moment, so as to be able to apply the new parameters. The master key allows increasing or decreasing treatment pressure simultaneously at all outlets, which speeds up unit programming and makes it easier. Each one of the 7 PRESOR O3 Excellence outlets has its own independent regulator that increases or decreases treatment pressure independently at each one of the outlets. The stop-start key starts the treatment once all parameters have been programmed, or interrupts the treatment momentarily when any circumstance so requires.